Now of Rami Khouri, who is a distinguished public policy fellow at the American University of Beirut. He joins us live from Boston. Rami, I hope you heard what Mohammed was talking about there. There is an awfully large set of differences between these two sides. Nonetheless, we did manage to see this first phase of a ceasefire deal successfully, more or less, go through. Are you at all hopeful for the prospects of a second phase?
Yes, I think they will eventually happen, but you have to keep in mind that what we're witnessing now is a clash between, on the one side, the U.S. and Israel, the leaders of the U.S. and Israel practicing the politics of theatrics, and the Hamas leadership on the Palestinian side practicing the politics of the quest for national self-determination. There's a big difference in their motivations and the way they act. Most of the delays that have happened have become because of the Israeli prime minister's desire to keep delaying things and obfuscating things and making new demands. And all the time he's dropping previous demands, things he said he'd never do. He ended up doing, like getting out of the Netzarim corridor, getting out of the Philadelphia corridor. So, and on the American side, Trump is constantly trying to throw new drama, new uncertainty into the picture, and including new real estate deals for his family and his friends. So this is really a very unusual situation. The important thing is it is moving ahead step by step. And the really important thing I believe that we should keep our eye on is how the stronger side, which is Israel, militarily much stronger, with the U.S.'s total support, how they've continued to make concessions one after the other when Hamas refused to carry through with the deal unless the Israelis kept their part of the bargain. So this is really new. This is unusual. And I believe that it needs to be understood in the wider context of a new form of anti-colonial struggle by Hamas speaking for the people of the global South and holding to account the imperial predatory powers of the North represented by the U.S. and Great Britain and Israel. And this is an ongoing process, so it'll change every day and every week. But I think that's the bigger picture that we should keep our eye on.
Okay, so, well, let's continue to focus on the smaller picture for the time being, Rami. As far as this process is concerned, it is supposed to be the second phase of what was originally planned to be a three-phase plan to permanently end the war in Gaza. From what you've said, it really doesn't sound like you think that there is any likelihood that the war itself could be brought to an end at the conclusion of this ceasefire process.
No, that's not a correct interpretation of my feeling. I think that they will continue to negotiate, but with a lot of theatrics on the way. And by the way, one of the imperatives for the U.S. and Israel is to project power, project unparalleled and power that cannot be checked or resisted by anybody. And they keep trying to do this, but it doesn't seem to get them to achieve their war aims. Hamas is patiently going along with this. But yes, I think they will keep negotiating. There'll be more prisoner exchanges. There'll be more releases of Palestinian prisoners and Israeli hostages. And then the really decisive moment is going to come when Israel gets out of Gaza completely and the agreement starts to move into phase 3 of how to start rebuilding Gaza and coming up with a new governance structure, which, by the way, has to include the principles that Hamas stands for. Hamas is not going to be out sitting in a press conference talking about governing Gaza. But the important thing is not Hamas. The important thing is what are the principles that Hamas is pushing for and has pushed for decades. And those principles are ending the Israeli occupation, ending subjugation of Palestinians, allowing free movement of people and goods, and self-determination for the Palestinian people, leading to statehood in return for peaceful coexistence with the state of Israel in its 67 borders, with some variations, obviously. So those are the big sticker items in the immediate negotiations process, and you can't separate the immediate developments from the bigger picture. If you want to leave the historical stuff out, that's fine. But the driving force for the Palestinians is self-determination and statehood and ending the occupation. And this is something that the Israelis don't want, but my guess is they're going to have to be forced into it. They're not going to be forced into it by attacks by Hamas and others. They will eventually be forced into it the same way the South Africans ended apartheid, which is a global consensus that pushes them to a peaceful transition to end their apartheid racist
Okay.
ways and agree to equal rights.
All right. Thank you so much for that clarification and for that analysis. Rami Khouri from the American University of Beirut.